Hello. Today I'm going to be doing this spooky Halloween word search for Halloween fun and relaxation. This one's in large print. Alright. And so the book can be reused. Just gonna lay this tracing paper over it. Pumpkin Patch Adventures. First word is autumn. There's two AUs, but it's neither of those. Down here is a scarecrow. Autumn. Where is autumn? Looking for right here, autumn. Oh, my pencil broke. Alright, I had to sharpen the pencil because it broke. Alright, cornfield, which is right here. Next word is harvest. Starts with an H, ends with a T, harvest. Harvest, like to harvest a crop. Harvest is a word that's both a noun and a verb. To harvest a crop is to gather your yield from the field. To uproot the fruit. Just kidding, fruit doesn't have roots. Unless you mean the fruit of your labor. And then there's the harvest, which is the bounty. Harvest. Where is harvest? Harvest is also a time of year. It can be an event. Harvest right here. Mittens. Like the things that go on your hands to keep them warm. Mittens, which many people start to wear in the fall when the weather begins to cool, the temperature significantly drops from the summer. And I found blanket right here. Like a nice cozy blanket to cuddle with in a chair with some tea and your favorite book. Mittens. I don't believe mittens can have fingers. I think that's the thing that distinguishes them from gloves. Right here, mittens. I think what distinguishes them from just being called gloves is that they don't have fingers. It's just one giant compartment for your fingers, and the thumb is separate. And if you do any snow sports, like snowboarding or skiing, mittens are the way to go because your fingers stay warmer if they're together, and then it gets trapped inside. Whereas if you just have one finger per compartment, that's only one finger doing the work to try to keep itself warm. Whereas the mittens, all 4 fingers are working to keep your hand warm and to trap the heat. And I did see pumpkin right here. Let's cross off mittens. And here we have pumpkin, which is a type of gourd. Is pumpkin a type of squash? I know it's a vegetable, right? Is it considered a vegetable? Now I have so many questions about pumpkins. Baskets. Right here. It jumped right out at me. You can use a basket to carry Halloween candy. You can use a basket to carry apples or any other you pick fruits from a farm. You can collect flowers in a basket. You can pack a basket for a picnic in a park. Crows. Like the bird, who are very similar to ravens. What differentiates them is ravens have a more guttural, deeper, almost croaking sound, whereas crows have a more high-pitched, blatting call, kind of like a blue jay's, but not. Ravens are more of a, like, they can sound like, I don't know, maybe a pig or something. I don't know how to describe it, but it's more of like a guttural sounding call, whereas the crow is more of a blasting sound, if that makes sense. And crows are also smaller, and their beaks are more pointed They're more like, whereas a raven is more like, kind of like that, and they usually have feathers on their beak. Alright. Crow. C-R-O-W. Oh, and it's crows, plural, right here. Okay, next is hayride. Which is where a horse pulls a wagon that usually has hay bales in it, and you sit on the hay bales. And they usually take you around. They have regular hay rides, they have kids' hay rides, and then they have haunted hay rides. And haunted hay rides, there's usually either a bunch of spooky decorations on the path, or there might be people dressed up as some sort of monster that chases the carriage. They can be a lot of fun. Hayride. Where is the hayride? Right here. Boy, we've got a cluster over here. Overalls. Start over here this time. Overalls. Typically, they are made of denim, although they are made of a bunch of different materials nowadays because they come in and out of trend, which I'm not somebody who really cares at all about trends, but it's just something I've observed is that sometimes they're on trend and everybody's wearing overalls of all different materials, and whether it's overall skirt or overall pants or overall shorts. But they kind of follow, like some years you'll have them everywhere you look, and then other years you don't see them anywhere, except for farm stores where the denim overalls are always sold. Artists will also wear them aside from farmers. It's common among artists to wear overalls to keep from ruining their clothes when they paint or whatever medium they use. Here's overalls. Some artists use a smock, but others use overalls. I mean, some artists just have an outfit dedicated to painting where they can just wipe the paint on it. They don't have to worry. They just put on the same outfit every time. Others will just paint in whatever they're wearing and throw a smock over. And then some have designated overalls. Others just wear whatever and don't care if they get paint on it. But mostly they're used by and invented for farmers. Now we're looking for sunflowers, which are a very large flower that has many large seeds in the middle, The seed colors usually vary from very dark brown. They can actually be black too. I know there's black oil sunflower seeds that are favored by cardinals and other songbirds. But they range in color from black all the way to light tannish color. And the petals, they can range from pale yellow to red. And I think there might be some brown ones too. And they can get huge. I know some sunflowers can get up to like 6 feet tall, I believe. I think that's what I read somewhere. I know they can get really tall. They're very popular for pictures in the fall. People like to go take pictures in the sunflower fields. I call them influencer fields. Because whenever I drive by a sunflower field in the fall, I feel like there's always at least a few cars stopped and they're out taking pictures. Sunflower. Where is the sunflower? Start back over here. Oh, right here. Sunflower. SUNFLOWER. I keep leaving off the S. There are multiple farm stand. You can go to a farmer's market and there's a bunch of different farm stands, or you'll see them pop up on the side of the road during the harvest season. And they vary in what they offer. Some offer fruits, some offer vegetables, some offer flowers, some offer fresh honey, some offer all of the above, some offer mix and match of the things. Around this time of year, it's mostly dried corn, like Indian corn, I think is what they call it, the multicolored stuff. And pumpkins and other gourds. Usually they'll have like apples at this time. They just pop up on the roadsides and on corners. Some of them still rely on an honor system where they have a box for payment and they just trust that you'll pay for what you pick. But many of them have had to resort to utilizing security cameras because of theft. And you have to pay they have the option to pay via different apps like Venmo or PayPal. It's really a shame that they can no longer rely on the honor system. It's just the way the world is now. If you leave something out, you can almost guarantee theft will occur. It didn't used to be that way. Alright, we got start over because I didn't find it. Okay, farm stand. Looking for an F, followed by an A. An F, followed by an A. Here's an F, but there's no A next to it. Here's an F, but again there's no A next to it, nor this one. No A. It just wants to be in the cluster over here with everything else. It seems. Here's an F and an A, but then it's an I after that. What am I missing? Let's try to reverse it. So, let's look for DN. DNA. Let's look for DNA. DN. DNA, here it is. Farm stand. A lantern. Nowadays, you can buy battery-operated lanterns, or even plug-in lanterns. But back in the day, they had kerosene lanterns and oil lanterns. And oil lanterns, for some reason, I really loved the smell of them. I don't know what the wicks were made of. I think there was a wick in oil, and you turned something and it triggered a mechanism that, kind of like a Zippo lighter, that's created a spark, and then the oil would keep it going or something. Maybe there weren't wicks involved. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen an actual oil lantern. And now they also have paper lanterns, which are actually not good because people release them into the sky, the floating ones, and they actually can kill birds. Not only that, but they can also, they have to land somewhere, you know? When they get stuck, they can cause fires. They're just not good. A lot of LAs, but no LAN. lantern right here. Patchwork. If your clothes get torn in a way that they can't just be sewn back to themselves, you might utilize patchwork, which is where you take a patch from another piece of fabric and you sew it over the top of the tear. It's very common to see patchwork on a scarecrow. Whether it's on a shirt or the pants. I think that's really the only place I ever see patchwork anymore. There was a time when you couldn't really just go out and buy a new pair of pants if yours got shredded, and there's still people, I'm sure, that might do it, because obviously, not everyone can afford to just go buy a new pair of pants like that. It's just not common at all anymore. Patchwork. Right here. Tractor. There are many different types of tractors now. Lawn tractor, hauling tractor, field tractor, protractor, contractor. All jokes aside, some of them things are absolutely menacing, and you don't want to get caught in front of one or underneath one especially. You will not have a good time. They like to hold up traffic where I'm from. You'll have a tractor driving on the side of the road. Some of them are so big you can't even see around them, and you can't pass them even if you try. So sometimes you'll just see a huge line of cars stuck behind a tractor, waiting at its mercy until it makes a turn into a field. Tractor, where are you? Tractor. Okay, it was singular. There was an S at the end. I wasn't sure if I accidentally left it off again. Alright, cider, which is a drink made from apples. It's very good. You can also have mulled cider, M-U-L-L-E-D, not M-O-L-D. I mean, you could have M-O-L-D cider, but it might not be very good. But mulled cider, you can put additional spices like cinnamon, star anise, cloves. Some people put oranges in it and heat it up. Almost nothing beats hot cider in the fall. just the right thing to warm you up inside, and it's a party for your taste buds. There are a lot of cideries near me. Oh, that's right. You can also have alcoholic spiked cider, which it kind of blew up in the last few years. Like, there was a point when you didn't really hear much about it, but then one year it just became so popular. Now there's so many cideries, so many different flavors. Gourds. G-O-H or G-O-E. Gourd. Right here. G-O-U-R-D-S. I did it again. It's gourds, not gourd. Leaves. In the fall where I am, in the Northeast United States, the leaves start to turn around late August, early September, really depending on the weather, because ultimately it's the weather that determines not only how fast they turn, but also the shades that they turn into. I mean, when I say shades, I mean the hues, because certain trees just naturally turn certain colors. Like, there's red maples, and then there's maples that turn yellow. And then there's some trees that just turn brown, but that's very few and far between where I am. You get a lot of yellow, orange, red, even some like maroonish magenta. Oh, it's so beautiful. That's one of my favorite things about fall. I couldn't imagine living somewhere where they just turn brown and fall off. That'd be really depressing. So if you're from one of those places, I'm really sorry. At least you get to see pictures. But it's something that pictures don't really do justice. You gotta see it in person. It's so beautiful. And then eventually they all fall to the ground, and you gotta rake them. But that's everywhere. They fall to the ground and become one with the earth. Eventually. Toads like to hide in leaf piles, so be very careful if you ever disturb one. Whether it's by raking, jumping in it, stuffing it into bags to be taken away. Just be careful not to hurt a toad. Leaves, where are you? Lear. Alright, let's start over. looking for L-E. L-E-A. Here's an L-E, but it's at the end. L-E-T. L-E-I. L-E-P. L-E-T. Oh, that's the one I just said. L-E-K. L-E-N. L-E-V-E-S right here. And finally we have wheelbarrow, which is a cart with 3 wheels and 2 handles that farmers use very frequently to haul things across the farm, such as hay, feed, what have you. It's also used to dispose of manure, horse crap, whatever animals. They're very useful. And also, they are used for wheelbarrow rides in the fall. It's frequently part of different festivals and events. Kids especially love to ride in wheelbarrows. Right here. A wheelbarrow. That's a long one. I hope I haven't been pressing too hard doing this, because then it's pointless. Maybe they'll fade out. Probably not. Oh well. I tried. It's okay. I'll press lighter next time. So, autumn, cornfield, harvest, mittens, scarecrow, baskets, crows, hayride, overalls, sunflower, blanket, farm stand, lantern, patchwork, tractor, cider, cords, leaves, pumpkin, wheelbarrow. That's it for the Pumpkin Patch Adventures word search. Next is Midnight Magic, but I don't have time for another one. So that's gonna be it for today's video. As always, thank you for watching. I hope that you'll join me for the next one. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening,